Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? It's good to be back. Glad to be with you 24 hours or so after we got our verdict yesterday. And tonight, I bring you something truly special. Finally, after 11 weeks of this trial, and now we have the verdict all guilty on all four charges. We finally got our evidence packet yesterday. So I've been working through it, checking a bunch of things, and I have a couple of requested things. So a lot of people requested the service station video from BP Caldermead, and I have the entirety of that video for you to watch tonight. This is a video where Erin went to the bathroom for 9 seconds. I also have the video of where Erin discharged herself against medical advice. Now, I've watched some of the other media and they've given you like 20-second snippets of both these clips. Well, on this show, I'm going to show you all of them in their entirety in the format that we got it. I'm not going to be editing them. I'm not going to be making them smaller or speeding them up. You will watch them how we watch them in court, one for one. Plus, we have some other bits of evidence. I want to show you the investigation into the Asian stores in Oakley and Clayton. I want to show you some of the mushrooms that this inspector found when they were trying to find a mushroom that never existed. I want to show you these commercial grade mushrooms that they did find. I also want to show you some forensic evidence of forensic testing of the beef Wellingtons, where you'll get a close up look of what these beef Wellingtons look like and how they forensic test them, how they break them down and put them into the little tubes. And you're going to see that as well. So, hey, it's good to see you all. Nice to meet you. Francesco said, "Did you hear two untalented, stupid radio DJs are in trouble over this trial?" I did. I did. If I think, hold on, let me Google it. Okay. Okay, it looks like that information finally is now public. So I don't know if I can tell you when this happened. Let me just check the article. Okay. Okay. I can talk to you about it now. So let's start the show off with that because everyone said that I was paranoid. Everyone's like, you're paranoid about the way you're taking this case. Well, I can tell you that I was never paranoid. I was, you see when I show you this is only some of the people who got in trouble. But Kyle and Jackie O face possible prosecution for contempt for comments made during Erin Patterson's triple murder trial. And the judge said one afternoon when speaking about this, I encourage all commentators to engage their brains before they open their mouths. And it was in reference to a comment that Kyle and Jackie O said on their radio show. So they're radio presenters, sort of like a shock jock in Australia. And his comment was, just lock that bitch up. So there you go. And apparently, this is interesting. I was going to go to this event, the Psychology of Serial Killers event in Melbourne. I almost bought tickets to go to that event, but I did not. But it says here Christopher Beale, that is the judge in this Erin Patterson case, also considered whether to take action for contempt against Psychology of Serial Killers event that was in Melbourne a few weeks ago, and Mamma Mia podcasters. The three matters were raised by Beale in June during Patterson's triple murder trial without the jury present, and she was found guilty on all charges on Monday. The Office for Public Prosecutions has declined to comment, and he said, Justice Beale, when we heard this in the afternoon, I think everyone's jaw dropped in the media when we heard this spoken by Justice Beale, it was when the jury was not there. So at the time, we could not report it to you. These were some of the like things that went on when the jury were not there. So when you heard me making a big deal about the contempt of court, the sub judice thing, it's because we were hearing this in court all day. Like anytime there was a break, they would bring up like Channel 7 has done this, ABC has done this, Kyle and Jackie O have done this, Mamma Mia have done this. There was an event in Melbourne, like there was a ton of people who broke the rules during the trial. And Justice Beale said, I have read a transcript of that commentary from the Kyle and Jackie O radio show. I encourage all commentators to engage their brains before they open their mouths, as they may otherwise land themselves and their organizations in hot water. I will be referring this morning's matter to the Office of Public Prosecutions for contempt proceedings. Our media unit will continue to closely monitor all media in relation to commentary on this case, whether the commentary be shock jocks, so-called influencers, social media commentators, or legacy media. There you go. Um, there you go. See, it wasn't a joke. They were monitoring people. They said the Supreme Court media team were monitoring a lot of coverage and checking whether they complied with the sub judice contempt laws. So when you heard me being over the top about it, it's because of stuff like this that was being said without the jury present. I just wasn't able to relay it to you at the time. So it was a big deal. It happened a lot throughout the trial. There was a bunch of media that got smacked down in court. So, Musical Neptunian said there was an interesting incident early in the trial where the ABC blog had a link to the iNaturalist site but deleted the link a minute later. I'm not sure what that was about. I don't remember any issue being raised about iNaturalist during the trial. Otherwise, I'd tell you about it. Yeah. Can you imagine getting locked up for saying lock her up? Well, when you have the reach that Kyle and Jackie O do, I mean, they're playing in water that they're not familiar with. A couple of weeks later, he tried to comment on a different case, and his team that he has surrounding him actually cut the show because they're so worried about being charged with contempt because they're already in hot water in Victoria. So they actually killed the show, a national radio show, and killed the broadcast because they were worried they were stepping into hot water again. And Kyle's all like, "Oh, I don't know. I want to say what I want to say." He was pretty pissed off. Jonna said it's risky. Yeah, the risks for covering this trial were real. I know people like to say that I was making it up or I was over the top. The risks were real. I don't make things up for fun or for dramatic effect. They were what we were told. We were given warnings about things. And as you can see, even the judge was telling us, the media, that message is to us, the media, saying that their media team was monitoring what we were putting out. So there you go. Now I can finally tell you and feel vindicated in what I was hinting to you all trial. Quite as said they may have been monitoring her ping, but so many Americans were covering it. Analysts saying she's guilty while yeah, but it only really applies to Australia. As much as the laws apply to everyone, it really applies to Australia, people in the country. I know there was a lot of overseas people that were saying many different things, but the people that live in Australia, cover media here, um, have to abide by it, no matter what people are saying in America or whatever. So there you go, vindicated. Ping vindicated. Quiet observer. Hey, good to see you. Hey, Karen Kenner. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Betty C. We said we believed you, Ping. I know, but there was a few people who didn't, and they thought I was being paranoid. I was not being paranoid. I promise you, the warnings were coming thick and fast during the trial, and this was not the only incident. There was several. There was several that were brought up without the jury present of media being warned or a media organization being called out for their coverage and judge being very pissed off about it. So these people got referred for charges. So I think these were the only ones that were definitely put forward for criminal charges, but there were a couple of others that they're still investigating. So Robert said Ping did very well not talking. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hey, good to see you all. Good to see you all. Hey, Francesca. Hey, Julie Miller. Chipmunk's here, quiet observer. Karen Canada. John is here. Betty C. Robert's here. Musical Neptunian. Laura T. Amy's here. Hugney. Good to see you guys. I know Eric was here. Hey, Eric, what's up, buddy? He gave a super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Great job covering the trial. Thank you. Thank you for sending some of your people over here. They've been dropping in every so often in the final days of the trial. I appreciate it. And Musical Neptunian, thank you for your hard work. I do it for all of you. I do it for my viewers. That's it. I don't do it for anything else. I do it for you guys. Hey, buddy. Hey, Joe. Good to see you. Yes. Happy morning to you too, my friend. Heather said, I've been listening to the doctor that gave evidence in court about his encounter with Erin in the emergency ward. Dr. Chris Webster or Weber? Webster? Webster, I think. I have his triple O call if you guys want to listen to it in a minute. But first, I want to start with the BP Caldermead video, but I want to play it in its entirety, the whole thing. The one you've seen in the media, if you have been following the media, has been like 30 seconds of it. I want to show you from the moment she hops out of the car to the moment she gets back in her vehicle. It's about 4 minutes long. All right, let's go to it. So this is the video where Erin goes to the bathroom for 9 seconds and then peruses the service station, buys some food and other items for her children, and then leaves. So here we go. You'll see random people walking in. This is her car, this red one right here. That red car that just parked, that is Erin Patterson's vehicle. We'll see it in some other evidence at a later time. Yeah, she did not wash her hands, especially if she said like she picked up poop and then she went and touched food items in the BP. Watch this. She actually touches food after going into the bathroom and depositing what she says is diarrhea. Here is Erin. This is Erin Patterson right here in the gray jumper that hopped out of the vehicle. And now you'll see her walk across this area to the bathroom up the back. There she is, into frame. And she heads straight to the back door here where the bathroom is. And this is where you see for 9 seconds. So she goes in there, does what she says is depositing a bag of poop in a bin, and then she's back out again already. There you go. She has left the toilet. And then she goes and touches food items. Watch this. She picks up something from the fridge. Here you go. Touching food after handling what she says in her evidence is poo, and then not washing her hands and touching items within the gas slash service station. So there you go. It was a long drive. So this stop is on the way back from uh, her son's aeroplane lesson. So he was taking some lessons at Tayab, and this is on the way back from Tayab after the lesson was cancelled. So you see her peruse around. She heads into another aisle. touches more items with her poop hands, sort of walks around. You can see her there in the grey jumper. Well, her evidence is she pooped on the side of the road and picked it up in a doggy bag. But like some people bring up, if she had diarrhea on this day, this is the Sunday after the lunch, how did she pick up diarrhea? There you go. Now with her poopy hands, she pays for items at the register. No, no time spent washing her hands. No. And then she'll leave. And she'll leave the BP at Caldermead. Yeah, that's why the prosecution says that her story is full of crap. There you go. And they say that she is a liar and that stop on the way back from Tayab never happened. So there you go. She'll leave and she heads back to her vehicle and she leaves the service station and away she goes in her little red car. There you go. There you go. So part one of the evidence. And you can see if we rewind this, so she gets out of her car. I'll speed it up a little bit for you. And she cuts across this lobby. Here you go. There's Erin on the bottom of the screen. It doesn't look like she's got anything in her hands except for maybe car keys. She is wearing a bag. So did she put if you are to believe her story, which the jury did not, did she put poop in her handbag? Because she's not carrying anything else, is she? She only has her keys in one hand and a handbag around her shoulder. So is she carrying a bag full of poop around her in a satchel bag? And then she heads to the bathroom, and if you watch the timestamp at the top, yeah, I'll play it from here, and you watch the timestamp at the top. Oh, all right, let's go back a frame. All right, there you go. Watch the timestamp, and she'll be back out in a jiffy. There you go. Under 10 seconds in that bathroom. That's all. So, or phone A could be. Laura T says she really likes white pants. She does. She would definitely have phone A on her at this point. It is the Sunday, 30th of July, 2023. Phone A would definitely be in her possession at this point. 100%. So there you go. There is the infamous 9-second toilet video from the evidence. This is what we got to see in court early on in the trial, and now you get to see it. Yeah, I know some people have put this observation out that for a woman who seemed to be worried about pooping her pants, that is from her evidence, she's wearing white pants. I don't know too many women out there or men who would have have the bravery to wear white pants when they know they are suffering from diarrhea, especially when she gave evidence that she was, at one point scared to leave the car because of how explosive her diarrhea was. Yet she was wearing light colored pants, bending over and walking around like there's nothing wrong, and she feels all good. Less than 24 hours after, well, it's a little over 24 hours from the lunch the day before where she served the beef Wellingtons. So you tell me what you think of her evidence. Hey, JS, how are you? JS says, so glad the jury saw right through Erin. She is a dead cold killer, not unlike Brian in the US. Yep. Francesca said this woman will always be trouble. Hmm. Hugney said, look, white pants are a risk at the best of times. And she's wearing it when she thinks she has food poisoning from her evidence. I don't know about that. Hey, Drew. Good to see you. Sorry. I'm sorry about that, Drew. I'm sorry about that. I'll keep the descriptors down a bit. Chipmunk said, if I had the runs, I ain't going nowhere. Hmm. Yet she was so insistent on going to this flying lesson for her son. Even her son was like, we don't have to go out today if if you're not feeling great. Why were you so insistent on driving such a long way to Tayab on this day where you said you felt so ill, just like everyone else? She was sick. I don't know. I don't think if you felt like you had food poisoning, you'd be going anywhere, yet alone a hour or more journey to Tayab. I just don't think so. Her prison did have her working in a kitchen, yes. Gianna said she was walking quickly and in good health in the video. Looks like it. Musical Neptunian said Tayab is far SE of Melbourne, southeast, even further southeast than where I'm at. Yeah, it's really deep into the southeast of Melbourne. It's a little bit of a distance from where Erin used to live. It's a bit of a drive. So there you go. Some exclusive evidence here on the channel tonight. I told you I'd bring you as much as I could from this trial. All right. Who wants to see Erin Patterson fight with the doctors and nurses to medically release herself from hospital against medical advice? Who wants to see it? I know I do. I want to see it. All right, we can watch this. We can watch it. Hey, just another human. How are you? Good to see you. Amy says she was looking hungrily at those sandwiches. She was, yes. All right, let's watch the second part of evidence I have for you tonight. So, this is when she first presented to the hospital at Leongatha. And this is where you heard the evidence that she just wanted to get away, that she wanted to leave that hospital against medical advice. And the doctors were trying to uh, emphasize to her how serious the illness she had could be, because it could be death cap poisoning. And she just wanted to go. She's like, I don't want to be here. I need to leave. And you're going to see the interaction between her and the nurses here. It's about 2 minutes long. Yeah, that ambulance worker is not part of this in the background, but there's Erin. Erin in the red top. There is that's Veronica Foote, Dr. Veronica Foote. You would have heard some evidence from her at the trial. And there's another doctor. I can't remember her name right now. I'll get it for you, but it's another doctor. Hold on. Okay, I don't have it, but I'll look it up. Yeah, more white pants. She seems to love the whole. This is the day after. So the video we just saw was the Sunday. This is on the Monday. 2 days or a day and a half. Yeah, almost 2 days after the lunch. This is about 8:55 a.m. in the morning. The clock is like an hour or so fast. Same pants. Actually, these ones look looser. I think so, anyway. Don't know if they're the same, but they're similar. There's Erin, and she's fighting with the Dr. Veronica Foote, and she's like, "Oh, I just want to go." And Veronica Foote's trying to emphasize to her why it's a bad idea. And then they say, "Well, look," the nurse comes along and says, "Here, if you sign this form, You can just go, but you gotta come back." They were trying to convince her to come back in about half an hour because she said she had to take care of her children and her pets and organize to be at the hospital. So they made her sign this, discharge against medical advice form, and they're giving her a bit of a rundown here, like, "Hey, it's very important that you come back. We have to look at you." And then Erin leaves the hospital for someone who was very ill. There you go. And now I'm gonna show you the discharge against medical advice form. Let me just grab it. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Hmm. All right. Here you go. Here's a form of, and it says here, Gippsland Southern Health, and here, Erin Trudy Patterson. I, Erin Patterson, am leaving, she circled, am leaving, from this hospital on my own responsibility against the advice of medical officer slash senior nurse. It has been blurred here for privacy. Capacity full, I'm not sure what that says, full something, full medical. I'm not sure. It's hard to read. Doctor's handwriting, man. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can read it better than me. But it has the date. Um, yeah, there you go. Yeah, discharge against medical advice. Sabrina Ward, registered nurse. Hold on, is that the right one? This is when she discharged from, this is when she discharged from medical a different time in 2015. Sorry, this is when she discharged from medical advice a different time. So she'd done it. Her defense was that she'd had this behavior several times while in hospital where she discharged herself. So I'm just trying to find, we have two of these. Hmm. Interesting. It's not coming up in my folder. Hmm. I'm not sure. That's odd. Let me just double check my listings. Hold on. BP Caldermead. Hmm. The search photos. That's her admission one. Um, yeah, interesting. I thought we had two of these. Sorry, I did have it brought up before. Photo received. That's not it. Um, uh-huh. Yeah, sorry, I found it. Thought we had two. So the one you just saw, that was from 2015. And then we have another one, and here it is, Erin Trudy Patterson, and date of birth is the 30th of the 9th, 1974. And it says, I, Erin Patterson, am leaving. And it says, from this hospital on my own responsibility against the advice of medical. And it says, officer slash senior nursing staff. And then it says, capacity ME. And then the signature. This is Kylie Ashton. Kylie Ashton was the director of nursing at this hospital. That's the woman you saw in the video. So there you go. There is Erin Patterson's discharge against medical advice form that you saw her sort of complain with the nurses about, and finally the nurses gave in to her in this video. This is Kylie Ashton here in the brown jacket, and that's Erin Patterson signing the form that you just saw. And then the first one I showed you, like I said, was a previous time that was brought up by her defense, and it was part of her defense that she exhibits this behavior when she is in a hospital setting, that she often doesn't want to be there and tries to discharge herself from hospital. So, but the second one you saw, that's the one from this event here. And there you go, Kylie Ashton and Erin Patterson signing that form, getting herself discharged from hospital, even though they thought she may have had death cap poisoning. And that's when they had the 911 call, which I do have here. If we haven't, just give me a sec. I want to listen to it. I just want to make sure there's no child details. Hold on. All right, I believe it's okay to play. So after she left this hospital, signed that discharge form, then Dr. Chris Webster made that 911 call, worried about why this woman had discharged herself. And she said she'd be gone about half an hour, but in fact, she was gone for much longer than that. That's what sparked the doctor to call for that 911 call. And I'm going to play that for you here.
Monday, July 31, 2023, 09:25 and 57 seconds.
Emergency services.
Hi, 4053.
Thanks, Telstra. Hello, what address do you need the police?
This is Dr. Chris Webster calling from Leongatha Hospital, and I have a concern regarding a patient that presented here earlier but has left the building and is potentially exposed to a fatal toxin from mushroom poisoning, and I've tried several times to get hold of her on her mobile phone.
So, before I get all that information in, what address do you need the police to attend, Dr. Chris?
Yeah, should I give the hospital address or the address of the patient?
If you know where they are, their address.
I have the address of the patient.
Yeah, go ahead with that.
Okay, 84 Gibson, Gibson Street.
Is that in Leongatha?
Leongatha 3953.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So 84 Gibson Street, Leongatha, Victoria. The nearest intersection is Worthy Street, is that correct?
I'd have to get Google Maps up, but yes, I would say that sounds right. That sounds like a street in Leongatha. Yeah.
What's her name?
So the last name is Patterson, Patterson.
First name?
Erin, Erin.
Do you have a date of birth?
30th of September, 1974.
When did she present at hospital?
At 8:05
Today?
Yeah.
Mushroom poisoning, you said?
Yeah, so there were 5 people that ate a meal on Saturday, and 2 of them are in intensive care at Dandenong Hospital. 2 have just been transferred from Leongatha Hospital to Dandenong Hospital, and Erin presented this morning with symptoms of poisoning.
Bear with me. And what happened when she presented? She just got up and left?
No, there was time for the nurse to begin observations, and I was managing the other critically unwell patient, so I had a brief chat to her about where the mushrooms were obtained, and after that, while I was attending the other patients, the nurse informed me that she had discharged herself against medical advice. So I don't know exactly. Oh, we've got a form here. Hang on, tell me what time she left. No, it doesn't have a time. She left at. So she left at 10 past. She was only here for 5 minutes.
Okay. Bear with me. This is her Erin's home address?
Yes, 84 Gibson Street is Erin Patterson's home address. That's correct.
And just to clarify, you said there were 4 other people who ate the same meal. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the meal was consumed by 5 people, and 4 of those people are now hospitalised, and Erin presented this morning.
And it was at Leongatha and Dandenong Hospital, is that right?
The initial presentation for 2 of the patients was Currumbara Hospital, which is part of the same health network as Leongatha Hospital at Gippsland Southern Health, but all the patients are now at Dandenong Hospital or in transit to Dandenong Hospital.
Do you have a phone number?
Yes.
There you go. There's a little bit at the end there, but it just quotes a phone number, and then they say that they're going to try locate Erin Patterson. And that is your 000 call. Sorry, not 911. I'm so used to switching to American thinking when I do the shows on here. Sometimes it gets the best of me. That is a 000 call from Australia. So in Australia, we call it a 000. So if you were to dial emergency services in Australia, it is 000, not 911. So there is some chain of events for you, and that is some evidence from the Sunday after the lunch where you see her at the BP Caldermead at that service station buying food and going to the bathroom for 9 seconds. Then I showed you a video at Leongatha Hospital where Erin discharges herself against medical advice. Then I showed you a couple of discharge against medical advice forms, one from 2015 where she is alleged to have done it before, and then the one that is in relation to this event where she discharged herself against medical advice that you watched her sign in that video, that CCTV at Leongatha Hospital with head of nursing Kylie Ashton. And then you got to listen to the 000 call, which came directly after Erin discharged herself from the hospital because Dr. Chris Webster was so concerned about her health because he thought she might end up like Don, Gail, Heather, and Ian, where they were so ill that they had to be transferred to a different hospital to get more care. So there you go. You guys have seen quite a lot of evidence already. These were some of the big bits of evidence that we saw early on in the trial. These were some of the really integral parts of the early trial. Laura says TMI, but it takes me longer than 9 seconds just to get pants down. Yeah, I don't think she was doing too much in the bathroom. No, she did not. In 2015, she did not discharge herself after being advised of fatal poisoning. No. Only in 2023. Chipmunk said, I see the doctor's concern. I'd be like, you're saying you aren't feeling well and want to leave. They expressed to her in no uncertain terms that she could have death cap poisoning and that they were extremely deathly worried about her, that they did not want her to leave that hospital at all. They wanted her to stay because they thought they were actually going to have to transport her to a different hospital because they were pretty certain that if she ate the same meal that she was going to get just as ill as the other 4 people. But as we know now, she never did. She never got sick like the other people, including that toxicology a few days later cleared her of having any Amanita toxin within her system. So even after toxicologists test her blood and samples, they never found any traces of Amanita phalloides within her system. So, and by that point, everyone else was on a ventilator, on their way, or already arrived at the Austin Hospital in Heidelberg, where they were basically in multiple organ failure. But Erin was just sitting up in a hospital bed in Monash Clayton, eating food and hanging out. Literally. She ate breakfast. I think she ate some lunch as well. And she was just hanging out in a hospital while the other 4 people were being transferred to the Austin in Heidelberg to get prepared. Some of them for liver transplants. All of them were intubated. So they were knocked out and then intubated and transferred to a third hospital because they were that ill. But Erin, no, she was hanging out at Monash Clayton, eating hospital food, just chilling out in a hospital ward, and then got cleared by toxicology and went home. So there you go. Hey, Anna P. Hey, how are you? Chipmunk said, but she knew she didn't. She stressed those nurses and doctors out so much. Yep. Anna P said, thankfully, the doctor called the police, which triggered further investigation. It did. Actually, this doctor, Dr. Chris Webster, he's the one who actually told the police could they grab a sample of the beef Wellington from Erin's home. Because by the time the police got to Erin's home, Erin had represented to the hospital, but the cops had turned up at her property. So the cops rang Dr. Webster again, and instead of you know, we can't find Erin, and he's like, well, she turned up here. He's like, can you get into her home and get me a sample of that beef Wellington that has made all these people quite ill? So it was his quick thinking that got that sample brought to the hospital. So I may have a video of that sample being handed in. Yes, I do. So I do have a video of Dr. Veronica Foote being after those leftovers are retrieved by police at Erin Patterson's home. They are then taken to the Leongatha Hospital and delivered to Dr. Veronica Foote. And I have that video of her receiving those leftovers of the beef Wellington, if you would like to see it. Here, I'm going to play it for you. So there's Dr. Veronica Foote. There is the Woolworths bag that we heard about in the evidence that I read to you, where the beef Wellington was taken from Erin's bin and put inside that bag and taken to the hospital. And you'll see Dr. Veronica Foote filling out some paperwork and probably labeling the sample bags. Putting on gloves so she doesn't contaminate the sample here. And in a second, you'll see a little bit of what they found. She reaches in the bag and you see her pull out a little bit of the beef Wellington. Here you go. So she pulls out some food item. And she will probably bag this and label it and take a photograph. There is half a beef Wellington or an amount. I'm just going to say it's a part of a beef Wellington that she pulled out of the bag. And then she proceeds to take a photo of it. So this is Dr. Veronica Foote. We actually heard quite a bit of evidence from her at the trial. I think it was about week 3 or 4 we heard from Dr. Veronica. And then she puts it back in there, scrunches it up, and then, yeah, just put it away, throw it away. Don't touch that. I thought she bagged it up, but it must be another video or something else. But this is when it was given to the hospital. There you go. The first time the medical staff actually got a hold of that beef Wellington from Erin's property, that in the evidence, she directed the police on where to find it. She's like, oh, it could be in the bin. You can maybe find it there in a Woolworths bag. And they said when they retrieved it from the bin, it was seeping with fluid or some sort of, fluid. Hello, International TESOL College. Good to see you. Not sure where that is located, but I'm glad you're international. Robert says food store in Oz. That is right. Good old forensic Woolworths bags. That's right. Let me see. I might have. I just want to make sure it's got no one's contact details in it. Does it? Hi, Laura. Okay, it does not. Okay, do you guys want to see that beef Wellington? Yeah. Oh, okay. I can't do it like that. All right, we're gonna have to do it like this. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the PDF viewer on my StreamYard inverts the color, and you can't display it. I'll show you. It kind of inverts my colors. See, you guys can't see it properly. So I will fix that, and I'll show you the color version. All right, let's show you that in color. So there you go. There's a up close photo of what was inside that Woolworths bag. And this is Dr. Veronica Foote, the lady you just saw in the video, sending a photo to another doctor called Dr. Laura Muldoon. And she works at Monash. And they are just conversing and showing a photo of what the possible food item was that made everyone sick. So there you go. There is a close-up photo and it says, "Hi Laura, photo of meal, mushrooms finely chopped. Thanks, Veronica, and this was on Monday, the 31st of July, 2023. So there you go. Just Another Human says the pastry looks quite thick. I thought it would be thin. Yeah, it's extremely thick and it has multiple layers, like a lot of layers. Heather said looks awful. It doesn't look very appetizing. No. It looks a bit gross. Chipmunk said that does not look like a beef Wellington, looks like a messy sub. It does sort of look like bread, right? It sort of looks like bread. Hey Reeby, what's up, my friend? I hope no one is having their dinner right now. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But there you go. That is your up close photo of the beef Wellington. The one you heard so much about when everyone thought it was like a whole beef Wellington, and then we find out during the trial they were individual. So yeah, there you go. One of the things we found out in the prosecution closing is that Erin dehydrated the death cap mushrooms, and by their their case against Erin is that after dehydrating the death cap mushrooms, she pulverized or powderized the death cap mushrooms that were dried and added them to this meal. So one of the mycologists actually took this sample and tried to put it under a microscope and look for death cap mushrooms, but was unable to find any. But when they did the testing, they were able to detect some of the alpha and beta aminidin toxin, amatoxin, that was in the food, but they were unable to physically, visually see it within the sample, which led to the prosecution saying that she powderized the death cap mushrooms and put it into the meal. No, they are not. No. I have a photo of the death cap mushrooms if you would like to see it. This is going back weeks before this point in the trial. Here is a photo with what the mycologist, from looking at the photos, said were wild death cap mushrooms on a dehydrated tray in what is alleged to be Erin Patterson's home that she was dehydrating. So these are the ones that the prosecution contends. Oh, here, let me take that down. These are the ones that the prosecution intends were dried and then pulverized and then later put into the meal a few months later. This was a few months before the meal, apparently. And the prosecution alleges these are the ones that she preserved and then put into the meal at a later time. And that's it. Apparently, according to the mycologist, these are death cap mushrooms. So there you go. There you finally get to see what killed those three people and made a fourth one very ill. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Go nuts. You can say whatever. There you go. So death cap mushrooms. These are death caps, according to the mycologist. So yes, so the dehydrated did have death cap residue and what they call debris. So small particles of death cap mushroom. Let me see if I have that to show you. I might have it, I might not. Let me see. Hmm. Is it this one? I do, but I'm gonna have to prepare this one later, unfortunately. It is black and white on my reader, which means I have to take screenshots of it. But I'll show a little bit of it. Here is one of the forensic samples with what they designated as debris/vegetable matter collected, designated as the letter F, and placed in a labeled specimen jar, which was sent for further testing. This came from the dehydrator, and this was for forensic testing and lab testing to try and figure out if it was death cap mushroom, and they found that within the cracks and crevices of the dehydrator. So there is a forensic lab sample. There's a few more. So there's see how they're black and white. I have to fix this, and but there's the dehydrator. That's what it looks like. It's not a good photo. I'm gonna have to do a screen capture of it. Let me see if I can do that for you. Hold on, my friends. All right. I'll take a quick screenshot and show you what this looks like in color. Okay. Let me add a file. There you go. There you go. There's a color photo of the dehydrator that they were forensically examining for the trial. And this is where they found the debris or vegetable matter, which ended up testing, some of it ended up testing positive for Amanita phalloides. So, hey, low and slow. Like she thought she was going to get away with this. Well, apparently she did when she covered her house with black plastic and thought she was going home when the verdict came in. J.S. Cat said she is sick as F. The premeditated action she took, the planning, absolute depravity. I agree. The kids did not like mushrooms, to the point that she even dehydrated mushrooms and put them into her children's food, including at one point running a science experiment by adding different amounts of dried mushroom to muffins and feeding them to her child who did not like mushrooms, and to see if the child could notice it or not. So there you go. Yep, the muffins, right. That's right, yep. Put them into her food. Chipmunk said, I think she thought having done... Great. I think she thought having done this stuff in advance would be a way to get around getting caught. It's evidence to it being fishy, though. You know, I heard a psychologist today said she's very cocky, but very dumb, and that she made a lot of mistakes for someone who thinks she is very intelligent and one step ahead of the police. That's not my opinion. I'm just saying a psychologist today said she thinks she's superior than everyone else and smarter than the investigators. But in the end, the investigators won and proved their case in court, where 12 people on a jury agreed with their version of events and not Erin's. Probably test running the dehydrator process. Yeah, could be. I don't know if I still have it up. Hold on here. So she put black plastic around her home, you know, because she thought she was going to get out and didn't want the media prying into her property. There you go. There's the black plastic that was installed in her home last week. So, just another human said agreed, not smart, but thinks she is. I agree. Good investigating. They did do some good investigating. Chipmunk said, I heard that before with some lady convict, Lori something dumbbell. Lori Valor? Yeah. Yeah, so she did this thinking she was going home. It takes someone who is extremely cocky to spend all that money to install all this privacy screens at their home, thinking that the likelihood of them getting out was high. Says something about her mindset. Chipmunk said, I hope her kids are doing well. That is horrible to go through. Yeah, I think it's horrible for many of the family. You got to think you've got the Wilkinson family, the Patterson family. There's many uh, uncles and brothers and aunties and a lot of different people in that family, and they're all having to deal with the fallout of what Erin Patterson did to their family, including Simon. Simon's going to have to deal with it too, and he's got two little kids to look after. So Chipmunk said she should have bought some self-help books and grown a garden. No mushrooms though. Well, she had a large book collection apparently. Jonna said it's weird. I agree. She's just a very unwell person. Yes. Drew said any insight on the friend she had in court. I know who you're talking about, and I saw her when I was in Morwell, but I don't know anything about her. I don't know who she is, and I don't think too many people know too much about her. But she's a friend of Erin's apparently. Went to court and supported Erin during the trial. That's all I know. Robert said black plastic is cheap. Well, not installing it though. Like that would have cost a fortune to have that put up. Francesca said probably born that way. What, like Lady Gaga? Is that what you're saying? Musical Neptunian said, was Erin glaring at the jury? I heard that reported. Um, I don't know about glaring at the jury, but I heard that she was glaring at the media. That a lot of the media who were sitting in court, because the media were on a row in front of her, she was behind them, right behind the media. And apparently she was glaring at the back of their heads. And apparently some of the media complained that it felt like she was like shooting lasers into the back of their head. And they could feel it sitting in court, writing their notes and articles, that they could feel her sort of staring at them, at the media members. Gracie said, my oldest son Dylan just walked in and said, wow, that's his channel. So he's subscribing now. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you to your son Dylan. Upside Down said, she seemed like she was so matter of fact about the entire affair. Takes a lot for someone to go to a hospital, hear and know that family members are dying, and just sit there knowing that you know what is causing them to be so ill and not say anything for days. Not like an hour, multiple days where she could have come forward earlier and saved their lives if they knew it was death cap mushrooms. She did nothing, never told a medical worker anything about any assumption she might have had about it being a wild or death cap mushroom in that meal, ever. Who knows if she had spoken up like on the Sunday morning when they were taken to hospital. Who knows? Maybe they would have lived. Maybe that extra few hours would have meant that more of the people would have survived because they would have had the knowledge of why they might be ill a lot earlier. So she never once spoke up. Hold on. Julie said, Ping, did you see Erin's outburst in court about, do I have to suffer this to her lawyers an hour after the prosecutor had started? I don't know. Depending, what was that on day one? Maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't hear it. Betty C said she seemed like a decent mother. I don't know. I'm guessing. Is Erin's friend going to write a book? Probably. Probably. It'll be like a ghost written book that's really Erin Patterson telling the story, but through her friend to avoid any laws about criminals writing books or something. Reeve said she had her own lawyers. So her lawyer was Colin Mandy SC. Um, and Colin Mandy had another legal attorney, barrister with him. And he had so there was on the prosecution there was Nanette Rogers SC. She was a leading prosecutor. Then you had Miss Warren and then Miss Lenthal. And then on the other side you had Colin Mandy SC and then Miss Stafford. So Miss Stafford was the other person on the defense. So the prosecution had 3 people and the defense had 2. So she had a privately funded lawyer. Upside Down said, yes, exactly, Ping. It's unreal. What was her point for doing it? So bizarro. Yeah, I know. Julie said, decent mother just destroyed her kids' lives. That's right. They'll never know their grandparents or their mother, really, ever again. Betty C said, the kids seem to prefer her to the dad. You never know what is parent alienation, though. The fact that those children spent all the time with the mum in the home, she could have been poisoning their minds to their father for a long time because she hated Simon for, you know, for not doing the right thing and separating from her and classing himself as single. So who knows if there's any sort of polluting of their thoughts against the dad and things like that. That is true. Yeah, senior counsel. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if she's a wonderful mother. I think someone said a good mother. Uh Betty C said true, yes, yes. Very likely going on her other character evidence. I agree. I agree. Hold on, guys. Who's messaging me? All right. Okay. All right. Hey JS the cat, how are you? She absolutely poisoned the kids' minds against the dad. That's the feeling I got um during the trial was that Erin didn't want them. That Erin didn't want them spending time with their dad. And she would say things to the children like, your dad hurts mom. Your dad doesn't help with your school fees. Your dad's like X, Y, and Z. And you heard this regurgitated from the children in their evidence that, dad hurts mom and all this type of stuff. And it has to come from Erin. So I believe personally there was parental alienation going on there. Um, I hope in the future that sort of goes away and, you know, they see what was going on. Upside Down said children are sponges. It's so irresponsible for adults to poison their minds. So unfair to them. Yeah, I agree. Did you hear from Nolan? What? You have to explain better. Betty C said wasn't looking at it that way. I should have known. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. Don't know. It's client attorney privilege. So you'd have to ask Colin Mandy. You'd have to ask Colin Mandy. All right, let's see what else I got. Do I have anything else that relates to this? Okay, will this go up on here? Give me a second. So I know it's a little blurry. There you go. So here is Erin's shopping list from her Woolworths rewards card. And you can see here the mushrooms that she bought. Over a kilo of mushrooms here, 500 grams each. 1 kilo of Woolworths puff pastry. And then another puff pastry. Or this is phyllo pastry. And she bought 375 grams of it. So she bought 1 kilo of puff on this occasion and 375 grams of phyllo. And then she bought a onion shallot. And then in another shop on a different day, she bought Pampers puff pastry, a 10-pack, 1.6 kilos, and another frozen phyllo pastry. Here you see when she bought a bunch of eye fillet and then sliced mushrooms and then more puff pastry, another puff pastry, potato, mashed potato, round beans, and more eye fillet steak. And this was on the 28th of the 7th, so one day before the lunch. This one here was on the 27th, so 2 days before. And yeah, so she bought a ton of phyllo pastry. This one up here was on the 23rd, so 5 days or 6 days, almost a week beforehand. Then she bought one lot of pastry. Then she bought another chunk of it here a few days before the lunch. And then one day before the lunch, she bought even more. So another lot, another chunk of. Why do you need so much pastry? Like this is 500, 375 here. Let's add it up. So what do we got? 500 plus 375, and then here 1,000, 1,600 plus 375. Wait, that can't be right. Yep, okay. And then what did she buy? 1,000. And plus. So she bought almost like 3.5 kilos of puff pastry in the week before the meal. Almost like multiple kilos to make only 6 beef Wellingtons. Why did you need to? Why did there need to be so many? I reckon, personally, my opinion is that she was going to do like a dry run with the ingredients to see if the recipe that she was trying to do when she was mixing in dried mushroom to see if it worked. That's the only thing I can come up with. 400 tons of dough. Yeah, maybe. Maybe she had a TikTok shop to sell phyllo pastry. Maybe. I just have a feeling that's what she was doing. She was testing out the recipe. Because why would you buy the ingredients several times, especially the phyllo and puff pastry? It's like she bought it 3 separate times. Once 2 days before the lunch, and then again the day before the lunch. Bought almost the exact same thing again. Unless she just ate it by the handful at home, it's a strange thing to consistently buy. So that's the Woolworths receipts that we saw in court. Maybe I can make it. Wait, well, let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. There you go. That might be easier for you guys to see. There you go. Then you can see she bought the B5 fillet, then the Pampers pastry puff, and then Art of Pastry phyllo. and then more out of pastry phyllo on the 28th, and then more Pampers puff pastry. Like, she just bought all these different types. One on the 27th, one on the 28th, and then another one on the 23rd. So about 5-6 days beforehand, she bought another lot of it the week before. So very, very odd. Eating the pastry by the handful. That's the only thing I can think of. Joanna says, practicing, was there any left in the fridge? That's just too much puff pastry. Yeah, there's no way you need that much to make, just little individual beef Wellingtons. Like, you don't need all these different multiple types. And she just bought kilos and kilos of it. There's almost 2 kilos right there. Let me add it up again. There's almost 2 kilos. That's 1.79 plus 500, 550. So what is it? Let me double check my math. 1975. 1975 plus 550 plus 375. Yeah. Yeah, she bought almost 3 kilos of puff pastry and phyllo pastry within a week of the lunch. 3 kilos to just make, little individual beef Wellingtons. That's a lot of friggin' pastry. She needed to practice. I reckon you're right, Darlie. It's very difficult to make, especially with death caps, right? You got to get it right if you're using death cap mushroom. Yeah, I agree with the prosecutor. I don't know if there was any more left in the fridge. I reckon she would have got rid of the evidence. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I think she was practicing for sure. So there you go. What else did she buy? A lot of Valia for her children, I think. A lot of Kellogg's Sustain. Of course, she's got the Cadbury Picnic Share Pack. You can't go to Woolworths without getting a Cadbury bag. And then she's got another Cadbury Share Pack of Turkish Delight. Can't go to Woolworths without getting some turkey. How many did she get? 1, 2, 3, 4. They must have been on special because she bought like heaps of them. And then she bought a Cadbury Caramel Wallaby Share Pack. She likes her Cadbury. She likes her Cadbury. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Did she buy chocolate every time? No. Here we go. And then she bought all this gravy. Look. Gravox gravy, liquid traditional, 250 grams. Oh my god. Here, hold on. All right. So, yeah, there you go. She bought all this Gravox. Gravox gravy, liquid traditional. These are like those little heat up packs. I'm pretty sure Gravox. Liquid. Yeah, sorry about my squeaky chair. We did buy a new one, I promise. Let's see, 250 grams. That's 160. The 250 gram one must be the family sized version. So they make it. It's sort of like this. I'll show you the photo. And she did say in her evidence she did heat up gravy. This is a little one. She bought the family size one, which is 250 grams. But I have to ask the question: who buys Gravox for a special dinner? Gravox tastes awful. I've tried Gravox several times, and it just tastes like salt and flour. It's awful. I can't stand Gravox gravy. It always tastes like trash. Yeah, it's awful gravy. It's not very nice. And this is what she put on her special lunch for people, even though Ian says no one really had very much gravy because the meal was okay on its own. We can get Bisto here. I've seen it at the in the imported section. They also have the curry version for the curry sauce in the Bisto. Looks gross. It does look a bit gross. Chipmunk said she kept them separate. See, that was the evidence to me. She had all theirs on different plates than hers. My question was if she had other plates of the same kind in the cupboard. I'm not sure, but I do have a photo of some plates in her house. If I can find it. I do have some from her home. Is it this one? No. Come on. All right. Is it this one? No. I'll have a look. No. There is one that has photos of plates in her home. I'm just trying to see if I can find it. Nope, that's not it. Da, 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 da. Nope. I don't seem to be able to find it. Hold on. Nope. Hmm. Odd. I thought I did have one. Sorry about the dead air. I don't like it myself. I'm just trying to see if I can find these photos of the plates in her home. There's a lot of evidence, unfortunately, to go through. Is it this one? No. Search. Oh, don't do that. All right, let me check one more. Yeah, sorry about the dead air. Uh-huh. Here, do you guys want to see plates in a home? I can do that for you. All right, so these are some examples. I'm not saying these are the plates or anything, but these were taken in her home. Okay, add file. So these were some plates in her home. There you go. Some plates on her counter and some plates in her dishwasher. There you go. These are during a search of her home. These are from a video of her home being searched, and they were taken as still photos from that video and then presented as evidence in court. But there you go. Some plates in her home, different colors, different designs. Does it mean she didn't have like you can see in the top here, there is a plate that is gray. So that some of the plates at the meal were described as gray, and then one was described as an orange rusty color. And you see one down here, an orange rusty colored plate. So there's some gray ones up top, and there's a orangey rusty colored one on the bottom. So the dark gray plates are IKEA plates. Okay. Actually, my favorite bowl that I use for dinner every night is an IKEA bowl. It's like $1.20, and I always break them, but I have to go to IKEA and get more of them, but they are the best ones you can buy. Betty C said she had plenty of matching plates. She tried to say that she didn't have a matching plate in her home, and all of her plates were mismatched, and that none of them, were a full set. But I see several here that are similar. Yeah. Marjorie said, didn't she refute the colors of the plates when she was on the stand? She did. She said that she didn't have any gray plates and that she didn't have any red or orange plates either. So, but in these photos of the search of her home, I don't know what color that is to you, but you tell me. Could I come over and set up your M3? I don't know if I can. You're a little far away. Aussie Tad said, can you go to the local op shop and buy some matching plates for under $5 the lot? You could. Who has dinner with mismatched plates? Very odd. One of her downfalls. I agree. For special lunch, most use fine china or their best, and it matches. Speaks volumes to me if there were other plates of the same kind in the cupboard. Yeah, I don't think we got the full video of the search of her home. We got a few screenshots like this, but not the entire video. So, give me 1 second. I need a drink. 1 second. All right. Aussie Tad said, I have dinner with mismatched plates. However, it's the same matching vintage set, but in different pastel colors. So it's matching, yet not matching. Maybe that's what she was going for. Joanna said, that was so weird that she said she didn't have a full set of matching plates. Weird. I'd buy a new set of plates for the party. Coming from a woman who seemed to have attention to detail that tried to design her own home down to the very minor details, but seemed to couldn't remember fine details during questioning at trial, nor have like matching plates according to her evidence. So this is a woman who literally walked into a architect's office with a design that she had made in MS Paint and handed it to an architect and said, "Can you make this for me?" And the architect laughed at her basically and went, I don't know if we can make that." And then had to actually design something in a real architecture software instead of MS Paint. She literally tried to design her home in MS Paint. They're around. One of them jumped up before and I had to go get her. She's staring at me. She's right here, sitting on a couch, staring at me, going, Dad, 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 Dad. When are you going to give me food? Dad, Dad. What are you doing? She's just staring at me. She's literally sitting on the edge of the couch like a statue, staring right at me, just glaring. Hey Penguin, what's up, my friend? Yeah, MS Paint. She really did. That was in the evidence at the trial. That was her evidence that she tried to design her house in MS Paint and then took it to a architect and they basically just went, "Who is this client? What is she asking of us?" I don't think we use that type of software in our jobs. Yeah, she's mad. My cat is mad. Aren't you? Hey, Rory. Do you want to come here? Come on. Here she comes. Hey, Bubba. There you go. See, I called her, and now she's all like, "Oh, Dad's gonna feed me." Hello. What you doing, girl? I don't think she'll hop up, but all right, she's purring. She's like, Dad, you're gonna feed me, aren't you, Dad? Come on, let's have food. She's a guts, though. This cat is the only thing that motivates her is food. Oh, here she is. Hello. No, you can't come on Dad's lap. No, 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 no. No. I don't like her jumping on my lap because she puts holes in all my pants. I'm serious. Rory, she puts holes like from clawing me in all the pants I buy. And it drives me nuts because I don't like having to rebuy them all the time. Rory, get down. Hey, stop clawing. Come on. Here, come here. Come here. What are you doing? Maybe I'll put her on the chair and she can run the show. Hey, Perry Cat. Perry Cat, you can't come up. Come on. Here. Hold on. There you go. There's my giant fluffy cat. She's yeah, all right, girl. All right, we'll feed you in a minute. Hey, big giant fluffy cat. Yeah. She's she's like, "But you called me. But you called me, Dad. I was just watching you, then you called me. So that means you're going to feed me, right?" Hey, come on, girl. She's food motivated. That's all she cares about. This one is she'll she literally gets into the cupboard and takes food down from the pantry and uses her teeth to rip open the packet and eat it, even though she gets fed several times a day. She is a guts. She eats her brother's food. So we have to keep an eye on her because she eats Muffin's food. Ozzy had says, "Food monkey, feed me." That's right. That's all she cares about. No, she gets a lot of attention. She gets pats and gets played with a lot and gets a lot of food. She's just a funny girl. Hey, Glitter, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you heard back from your son. There was an Aussie TV show a long time ago called Fat Cat. Fat Cat? I don't remember that one. I don't remember that one. Ping, have you seen the guy who does voiceovers for his pets? I could probably do that. Hey, Robbie, you're in Brisbane with the grandkids. I hope hope you have a good time. All right. I think we're gonna wind up for the night, but I hope that's given you a good insight into some of the evidence from the trial. And let me just double check. Yeah. They are my most requested bits of the evidence that people have been emailing me to talk about. They've been like, "Can you show us this? And can we look at this?" And all that type of thing. But the biggest one was that the Caldermead BP footage, the one where she goes to the bathroom for 9 seconds. That was the most requested video I got throughout the trial, besides the police interview of Erin Patterson, which we're going to have to wait a little bit more for. They haven't given us that as of yet, so we'll have to wait. Chipmunk said I had a cat named Chipmunk, aka Monkey. He ate phone cords and cable cords as a kitten. That's funny. And now you play with chipmunks. That is cute. Quite as Ever said, Fat Cat was cancelled first for that's isn't that aggro? I will. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll tell her. Bye everyone. Have a good night in chat. All right. Musical Neptunes had a guy in my year 12 English class do his final English assessment on why the show Fat Cat ended. That's pretty funny. Okay, let's get out of here. By the way, I wanted to thank the two people at the start of the show who sent in super chats. For some reason, our super chat tab went away. So I want to thank Musical Neptunian. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you. And my buddy, the Docket. Great job covering the trial. Hey, if you want to watch some true crime during the USA Day hours, head over to Eric and the Docket. He often does like trial watching in the US during the day. And my friend Joe, head over to Joe's channel and check out what he's up to. I'm not sure what he's covering. Maybe more crime, maybe more Texas floods, maybe more trials. Joe covered some of the or most of it of the Lori Vallow trial. So head over to those two great guys and check out their channels. The Quiet as Ever said, I think Aggro came after, then Big Bear. Yeah, I don't remember Fat Cat. That's not a thing I remember. Aussie Tad said, I thought Humphrey was rumored cancelled for no pants. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, thank you, my friend. Come see me at the Docket too. I will. Jonna said, thank you, Ping and friends. Thank you, guys. I hope that was a great inside look to a bunch of the evidence in the first sort of bit of the timeline. So we've sort of moved through about the first 4 days of the timeline in this case and trial. So we've tried to work chronologically along the timeline, and we'll keep going. We'll keep going as the shows continue. I am trying to get back to the midnight Eastern showtime, but I haven't got there yet. I will. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't remember that one. Hey Jay, good to see you. Hey Jay, thanks for your super thanks earlier today on the other show. I appreciate it. All right, love you all. Have a great night. I'm gonna get out of here. I will see you tomorrow for I will continue the evidence and me showing you the evidence from the trial tomorrow. You'll have to tune in, and if you want to see it, you'll have to subscribe. You'll have to hit that subscribe button. Help me out, help the channel out, so I can keep bringing you great information from trials like the Erin Patterson trial. Peace out, everyone. Good night. Bye.